you get there and cameraman's setting up his stuff. Then the actress got there and I talked to her and he was still setting up his stuff. And then I got time to like shoot the thing. And it was just, I couldn't really get it going.
You couldn't get it going?
No.
Sometimes you need to take control to make a difference. That's why with FlexPath from Capella University, you're in control. Set your own deadlines and leverage your experience to move at a pace that works for you. Discover a different way forward at capella.edu.
Time for a quick break to talk about some delicious breakfast options at McDonald's, like a steak, egg, and cheese bagel. Or you can get steak on a McMuffin or biscuit or any other of your favorite breakfast sandwiches. And for even more deliciousness, pair it with a caramel macchiato or one of our other McCafe beverages to make sure your day gets off to a great start. At participating McDonald's, single item at regular price.
I'd like to tell you about a great podcast I recently discovered. It's called Mindful in Minutes. Mindful in Minutes is an award-winning meditation podcast hosted by Kelly Smith, a global renowned yoga and meditation teacher and the founder of Yoga for You. Each week, Kelly shares a simple but powerful guided meditation practice to help you find stillness within your everyday life in just minutes. Kelly's meditations are grounded and designed for new and experienced meditators alike. And with over 200 guided meditations with topics from anxiety, insomnia, self-love, and morning productivity, you'll definitely be able to find a practice that is perfect for your day. Listen to Mindful in Minutes anywhere you get your podcasts. Shh. Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine. Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon. Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Breanne Davis-Gant. Today, I'm pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll hear about what people are hiding from themselves or others. You know, those deep, dark secrets you probably want to take to your grave? Or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing. Really, the how, what, when, where, and why of it all. Today, my guest is Vince. Now, Vince, I have a question for you. Dun, dun, dun. What is your secret?
My secret is I've acted in amateur porn films.
Oh, yay. Okay, let's talk about it. When did you do that?
It was the first thing I did was 5 years ago.
5 years
Five
ago.
and a half years. Yeah. And then it was for a period of, and it wasn't anything like glamorous or anything like that. It was just sort of very amateur stuff. But, and for a period for about 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. And that it wasn't very many. It was probably 8.
Does
movies,
anybody
maybe.
in your family or friends know?
No.
Ooh, look at me. I'm like getting so excited right now. I love a good secret.
Yeah. For, people who know me and know my personality, that would be the last thing they would ever think. The last thing ever they would ever think. So.
Okay, let's go back 5 years ago. What was going on in your life before that? Can you say your occupation or? No,
I can say it. I'm a musician and I also do a little teaching too. So what you asked what was going on before that?
Yeah.
Well,
what was going on before?
I can tell you, I was just kind of living my normal life, but what happened, I think that sort of was the impetus for it was I had lost some weight. And gotten into better shape. And it was always something, I was always sort of like I had like these ambitions. It was always something that I had sort of I guess most guys would sort of fantasize about that when they're watching, porn, like, can I do that? Could I ever do that?
Is that a fantasy? Is that a fantasy for guys? I didn't know that.
Maybe not an official fantasy, but it must be something that most guys think like, wow, could I do that? Well, I wonder if I could do that. I wonder how I'd be, that kind of thing. So I'd always thought that. And, I had a close friend, and we always kind of joked about, we should make some amateur porn and like produce it or something. It was just one of those things you say when you have a few drinks. It was something that you never, because I feel like it's sort of a line you cross. And once you do that, in some ways it's out there forever. And then it's kind of like, there's no coming back from it. Not that it's going to cause a disaster. Yeah, exactly. No. Exactly.
But I have a question. Did you used to always watch a lot of porn? Like when did you first see porn when you were younger? Do you remember?
Back then, so I'm a little older. I mean, this was the 90s.
Yeah.
Before the internet, really. So I think, I was in high school. Someone had a video or something like that, or, but it was never, when I really started watching it was, I guess, with the rise of like the tube sites like Pornhub, and I guess 2008, 2009, when the free content started coming online, then I, became more of a watcher, really,
I just remember I saw it so young, the Skinamax, and it would come in fuzzy on the TV, and you'd kind of be able to see it,
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah,
because we didn't have money obviously my parents didn't have money to pay for it, so we'd be like, oh, you can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's 2008, 2009. I remember when I first heard about Pornhub. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, that was like that. There was free. Before that there were some sites that would have. Remember, I think in 2007 or 2008, there were sites that would have little clips. Just little clips for movies. Yeah. But Pornhub was kind of revolutionary. In a lot of ways, it was bad, with, I don't know how anyone in that industry really makes money when everything is free. No, they actually
don't anymore unless they produce it themselves. They don't really make money.
I know. Exactly. So, yeah, that's when I started really watching it. It became, remember, I had a desktop computer before that, but then I got a laptop and I had an iPad too. Although I never got as into the iPad. It's sort of like cocaine or something, or just
it's a complete addiction.
Yeah, sure.
No, I actually deal with a lot of mostly men, but still a lot of women. They are addicted to porn. It's that fantasy. The fantasy becomes the reality more than the reality.
Yeah, exactly. So, 2009-ish or so, I started watching more. And then I think there's this process of desensitization, too, because it just becomes normal.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, when I really started thinking more about, well, at first it was just watching it. But then I started thinking about like, wow, it just more as a fantasy. Could I do this? Could I be in a room full of people and really it takes a certain breed, I thought,
But I would say it probably does, have a little bit of that exhibitionism going on.
Exactly. Yeah. So the seeds of that whole thing, I guess, started there. I had lost some weight, started losing some weight in 2017. And then I got down to I wasn't super, super heavy, and I wasn't really heavy growing up. I had gained weight in my 20s and 30s, but then I had gotten back down to a decent weight. And I just, that idea was still there, that had been there, that sort of fantasy about it. And then I thought, I don't know, I was reaching out to some people online.
Okay.
And talking about it.
In a chat group or something?
There were people it's sort of related to some things I was doing too. I was, maybe in a way I kind of had like a sexual addiction. I was seeing dominatrixes and stuff.
Wait, pause.
And
wait. You were seeing dominatrix? Is that another secret? That was something I shared with some friends, not with family, but that was something I had shared with some friends. That was something and that was not really sexual. I mean, that was all sort of, control.
I mean, it was sexual in a sense. I wasn't having sex with them. I was experimenting with bondage and that kind of thing. So that kind of further like whet my appetite for that world and further got me acclimated to like that world. So you had asked, there were a few dominatrix, dominatrices, would that be the plural of? I always say dominatrixes, but there are a few that I kind of worked with a little bit, or I could say a client of, and then I had mentioned it with them. And what happened, how I really started was there was and I was at the time I was going on Craigslist, and they were, since they maybe changed it, but there were ads for for models and like that kind of thing, and like it's coded a little bit, but you kind of know what it's about. So I think it was an ad that I saw for men wanted for some amateur stuff, and this was nothing like glamorous. This is like real gonzo stuff where you're shooting in someone's apartment and there's
honestly, I don't think a lot of them are glamorous. Don't.
No, it's not. So, but yeah, actually, I'm wrong about that. What would happen was, okay, this is what it was. There was a dominatrix that I was seeing, and she and her, I don't know if it was her husband or boyfriend, they were making some amateur content.
Okay.
And they wanted me to audition. So
did you?
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, that's what you have to take us through. So take us through the audition process for an amateur porn.
Okay, so it was basically, and I'd known her a little bit. I'd gotten comfortable with her, but I had never met her husband or boyfriend. She said, yeah, he films the stuff and like, I'll direct it. And it was just basically like a solo scene just to see if I could do this stuff on camera. Mm-hmm. So we set up a time and went to her apartment.
Okay.
And it was like, you want the details?
Yes.
Okay. So it's basically like she was on camera, like her husband was operating the camera, and she had said, can you really do this in front of like, my husband's going to be operating the camera. And I was like, whoa, man. I mean,
were you nervous?
Was kind of well, yeah, I was definitely nervous. And I thought like, I had never, my sexual experiences involved women. They were really like men around, you know what I mean? Like, so I thought like, is this going to be weird? Can I do this? But again, I mean, I think to me, I think there is sort of like a sexual addiction aspect to it, because it was like this charge, like this rush. It was almost like that part of my brain was really, it was like a drug. It's like, I remember driving there and calling my friend and saying, I'm really going to do this. And she was just like, you're crazy. She sort of thought it was funny, but so I went in and then I met him and he was filming. I think he just had like an iPhone or something. I can't remember what he was using exactly, and she said, okay, we talked about what we're going to do. And she said, she's directing me and he's filming. And it was just basically like strip and take all your clothes off, and you kind of do a solo scene where you have to masturbate and to completion, and they want to kind of see if you can do that on camera.
So was it easy? Was it hard? Like how was the outcome of that audition?
Like, believe it or not, that outcome was good. It was good.
Yay.
It was fairly easy.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so you're driving away, and then what's your thought?
It kind of just whet my appetite for more. I thought like, wow, because I can remember, he was this kind of burly dude and he's filming it. And, but she can be seen and heard on camera. She didn't participate. She was basically directing it. It's like, okay, do this. And like, let me, she's like encouraging me and directing it, and he's filming. But yeah, no, I was able to do it and like, get right into it. I wasn't nervous. It was like, all right, strip. And I was like, bam. And I just sort of became this character or whatever, but I felt like it was an aspect of me. It felt fine. Really. It wasn't like I did it and I thought, oh my God, what have I done? I was cool with it.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah. So we did that. Mm-hmm. And then after that, but see, I'm in an area, I don't want to say exactly where I am, but I'm not in LA. I'm not in a big city.
Like so you're in a small town somewhere.
Yes, things move slowly. So I did that in the fall. And then I didn't do anything again until I had another friend who was a dominatrix, and she was trying to get into filming content, and we filmed a scene, and it was more like this too. It was more like a solo scene. It was more like a domination theme.
Were you getting dominated or was she getting dominated?
I was getting dominated, yes.
Got you.
And we kind of worked out the scene. It was kind of like the same situation. And we did that. And I knew her pretty well, so I was comfortable with that. Mm-hmm. That went well. But I can tell you where things started to really like go off the tracks, where I hit some major roadblocks.
Let's do it.
So I have these 2 scenes under my belt, and I think, oh, this is, it's
I'm a
cool.
pro. You're like, I got this.
So then... so that was, I did that second thing in the winter time. Then I remember by that I had hooked up with this cameraman who had done like legitimate things. He had filmed some legitimate stuff around town, like, and he was an editor, and he was like a real camera guy.
Okay.
And he wanted to get into this stuff, and he wanted to produce some videos. And so I hooked up with him. And now this was like my first real boy-girl shoot. This was that spring, the following spring in May. And there was an actress we got he was basically producing it. An actress he got she was from out of town. She was from New England or something, but she had done some stuff. Like, she was nice, cool, and everything. And yeah, he got her for the scene, and I had checked out some of her stuff. And I talked to her on the phone, and she was really cool. So she came in from, I forget, it was Connecticut or Rhode Island, whatever. She drove in, and he had gotten this room at the Holiday Inn.
In the Holiday Inn?
Yeah.
I love it.
So I remember the night before that, I was a little nervous, but I was like, I don't know. I was just sort of caught up.
My question for you, were you getting paid this time or no?
I was barely getting really paid. I mean, it was never for the money with the guys.
I know. But like, did you get paid for that one?
I think I got a little travel money, but I basically, like, the majority, the money went to her.
Got it. Okay.
So I was just kind of like, I want to start getting my name out there as an actor, and he wanted to, set this up. So yeah, I hardly got it. I think I got a little travel money, but nothing. I mean, I might've gotten $50 or something. So yeah, so we do the scene. Well, I'll get to that. So it's the day of the scene, and I was a little nervous, but I mean, I sort of wasn't really thinking. I wasn't that. I didn't, in my mind, I wasn't that nervous really until I got there. Okay. But then we get to, and this is it's such a like a clinical, you get there and cameraman's setting up his stuff. And he was like a little kind of like apprehensive about bringing like all this stuff through the hallway. He didn't want to see it. So
he was hiding it somehow.
We found this door. It's like a little inconspicuous and like a side, and we're like he's got like lights and all this stuff. And he sets up the lights and everything. And then the actress got there and I talked to her, and he was still setting up his stuff. And then I got time to like shoot the thing. And it was just, I couldn't really get it going.
You couldn't get it going?
No, it was, I remember
Was it the pressure?
It was just everything. It was just, you're in this very clinical environment. Like, you've got this big burly camera dude. He was a nice guy too, but he's got these lights. He's got, and the actress, she was very nice. She was very professional, but cameraman setting up his stuff. And like I said, that was taking forever. And then finally, after an hour or whatever it was, we got time to like do. And then some question about what exactly we were going to do. And as far as for the scene, but I guess we decided to kind of let it evolve organically, just naturally. But I remember I knew I had a problem. I just couldn't get like my equipment going.
No, listen, as an actor, a professional actor, even when I do love scenes and it's so clinical and you actually have to work it out, or there's too much pressure and you don't know. So I can imagine be like, let's see what happens with all those lights and people looking at you. I know. Actually perform all the way,
It was a little cold in that hotel room.
Time for a quick break to talk about some delicious breakfast options at McDonald's, like a steak, egg, and cheese bagel. Or you can get steak on a McMuffin or biscuit or any other of your favorite breakfast sandwiches. And for even more deliciousness, pair it with a caramel macchiato or one of our other McCafe beverages to make sure your day gets off to a great start. At participating McDonald's, single item at regular price.
If you look around, there are so many ways to make a difference. At Capella University, our FlexPath format gives you a different way to earn your degree. Take courses at your speed. Move on whenever you're ready. Education should fit your life. Learn more at capella.edu.
Whether you wake up sick on a Sunday or your little one has a sore throat at the airport, you can get quality virtual care from a board-certified MinuteClinic provider 7 days a week. Services and appointment availability may vary. Go to MinuteClinic.com to learn more.
But I remember, it made it even worse. So I remember, I just couldn't, in like that morning, not to get too graphic or anything, but I remember the night before, like I didn't like do anything with myself. I didn't I made sure for like,
get ready for tomorrow. Yes, exactly. I get it.
So, but that morning I sort of like tested myself out a little bit, can I get this going? And I felt good. Okay. And then I went to but when when it got time to really shooting it, I just couldn't get anything going. I remember when I went to the bathroom, I thought like, I'll try to like get myself going in there. And I remember the bathroom was cold. It was like cold kind of I was in there. I was trying to get things going, and it was not happening at all. And I mean, not at all. Like I was saying, it was like that feeling where you're at the doctor's office or something. You might be a little nervous, and like the last thing on your mind would be trying to get aroused. Like you
Yeah.
would, you know what I mean? And it was strange to me because it wasn't. I didn't know what it was really. I mean,
Mhm.
the actress was pretty. She was nice. I think it was just this whole. I have total respect for the guys that can act in these films, just to be able to turn it on like that under all circumstances or different circumstances. I'm sure they have problems occasionally, but I mean, I couldn't even really get it going a little bit. So I'm in there, and
Mhm.
I kind of popped out for a minute, and I was talking to them, and I think they were patient and understanding, but I mean, I felt like just an idiot. You know what I mean? I felt like I was. I just
Ugh.
felt
And then
stupid.
that makes it worse, right? Where you're
Yeah,
like
sure.
beating
It does.
yourself up in there, like, come on,
It
come
did.
on.
It did make it worse.
Yeah.
So we weren't really able to film like a whole movie really, but we were able to do like a few scenes. Not
Mhm.
to be too graphic, we did like an oral scene, and we tried to do a few other things, but there was no like, there's no like, not to be too graphic, there's no like penetration scene really. I
Yes.
just couldn't do it. And it was fun. I mean, it was pretty funny because I tend to talk when I get nervous. So I was talking to
Mhm.
her, it was like, in some ways it was like, and he's got the camera rolling, and I'm trying to compensate for my failure by being like a little funny, and I'm a little neurotic, and it's like Woody Allen making a porn or something. It was just ridiculous. And at one point the cameraman, he's kind of like heckling me a little bit. And it was it was a I have to say it was a failure. It was absolutely a failure.
Just
And
just did not do your best, right? You just
no, and
A
no,
for effort. I'll give you an A for effort.
well, thank you, but yeah, it was just a weird feeling. I mean, I got there, like I
Mhm.
said, that morning. I kind of felt like, okay, I can do this, and I just got there, and I tried to get myself going, but it was like the opposite of being around. I could not.
You could not do it.
I could not do it at all. So then, he still wound up. Well, what he did was he
Mhm.
filmed a little solo scene with the actress when I was trying to get my stuff together, and so he was able to, I think, use that a little bit. And then
Like cut it and make it look a certain way.
so he
Yeah.
used, just as a standalone solo scene for her.
Mhm.
Then we were able to like do an oral scene and that kind of thing. So some of that I think was usable, but yeah, I remember when he was editing it, he just told me it was hard to edit because it was just so ridiculous, and he was trying to take out all my talking. But that's something I learned. I just to preview a
Oh
little.
my God.
I
That's so
learned, but
funny.
I learned a lot. I did learn a lot from it. Just the two
Mhm.
things I learned was just to keep your mouth shut. I mean, just
Don't
to
talk.
keep just to keep your mouth shut. And I also learned to like take a little chemical help before the next scene, which I did, and I had a
Like
better.
Viagra or something? Is that
My
what you mean?
friend gave me a Cialis, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Cialis. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a second time after that. Was it with the same cameraman or a different?
No, it was with a different
Okay.
a different camera person, and
So what made you want to do it the time after? Wasn't that traumatizing, or you were like, I can do this.
well,
I can do this.
I wanted to redeem myself. It's like,
Got it.
kind of thing, you have a miserable failure, you crash and burn, and you say, I've got to try this again. So, and
Got it.
I thought if I fail at this one, then I'm not cut out for it. But this one had a much better outcome.
Okay.
And this was a couple months later. So it was May that I had that failure. Yeah. And I mean, I tried to laugh about it. It was funny. And the
It is
actress was,
funny. It's great. Listen, it's good you're putting yourself out there and trying something new, and you're not always going to succeed the first time. It's okay.
yeah. I mean, if you were to watch it, it's so ridiculous. I'm just jabbering like the whole time, and the more I'm failing, the more I'm like talking. And she was a good sport, and it was ridiculous. But I remained on good terms with the cameraman, and we actually filmed something. We filmed something after that. We filmed
Mhm.
another domination type scene that
Oh,
was a
okay.
year later. But yeah, so I wanted to redeem myself, and and by the way, he put this stuff online, so
Okay.
it's like it's kind of like
How did it
that's a
feel
little.
being online?
It was a little. I mean, it was a little weird, but my feeling about that is there's so much stuff online now. There's such an ocean of
Saturation.
stuff
Yes.
that you can kind of remain anonymous. It was on one of the tubes. It was on X videos. It was on Pornhub too. It's he since took it. Well, Pornhub had a purge of their content. They purged a lot of their stuff. Like
So yours got
2 years ago.
purged.
Yeah. Well, I think if you went through, you had to go through like a re-verification process or something, and he was legit and stuff, but I think he didn't want to bother with that. But yeah, there was a copy of it too. It was actually on X videos at one point for a while.
So here's my question for you with that. Have you made any money from that? No. Okay.
Nothing. Yeah.
Okay. So let's get back to your triumphant return.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is better. There was, at this point I had joined a website that's, it's called Sexy Jobs. It's for, adult performers who want to reach out to producers and that kind of a thing. Okay. So I joined that, and I had connected with a woman who's a few hours away. She was working with, and again, this is really very gonzo, not glamorous stuff at all, really just kind of people making amateur content. Yeah. She was working with a woman who was producing a video, and I told her, I showed her something else. I certainly didn't show her that failure scene. I think I showed her like a solo scene or something, and then we set up a date to work together. So it was a different camera person. It was her friend or her so-called manager, whatever. She was filming it and producing it. So I went this was a few hours away. I went and did a shoot with them, and now that was the one I was prepared. My friend had given me that pill, and he told me to take it, and I took it, and that scene went much better. we were actually able to film like a real movie. So I remembered, I said to myself, just keep your mouth shut, just don't talk. And I was respectable in that one. I was really, I'm not saying I was, I'm not saying. I know
you did your job, but listen.
But I was okay. It was a respectable performance.
But here's the thing I love, that you keep giving this tip. Don't talk. If you're going to go into porn or amateur porn, do not talk. Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. I mean, especially for the guys are just like ornaments, really. I mean, it all exists. Yeah. Most of it's all driven
about the
by
women. Yes.
Men who want to watch women. So like no one wants to hear some guy jabbering, especially some neurotic Woody Allen dude. I mean, it was outrageous. I couldn't believe I was that bad. But yeah, this time I just thought, okay, I'm not going to talk. Okay. But the difficulty with this one was, and we were able to shoot like a whole scene, the whole scene with several acts and stuff. And it was good. It was fine. The only issue with that was that had challenges too, because.
What were the challenges?
The producer, the camera woman, producer lady, she was cool and everything, but she had this style of shooting, and what do I know? I'm no veteran or anything, but instead of just like rolling, letting you like kind of do your thing organically and rolling, she would say, okay, we're going to shoot this oral scene. And then she'd it'd take 15 minutes to set up the camera and different angles. I mean, she didn't really have that much equipment. She had less equipment than the camera guy that I worked with before, but she had lights and stuff, so she's taking forever to set the scene up and blah, blah. And then, okay, then we do the oral scene. Then it's like, okay, stop. And then she's taking like 15 or 20 minutes to set up for like the other, whatever else we're going to do following that. So like in between, your momentum is broken.
Welcome to the world of filming. That is every actor, whether you're in porn or a regular actor, just like worst nightmare. Welcome to the club.
But it's even, I feel like it's even worse with this because you have to get yourself. So I would, just be sitting and standing around. That's like, okay, resume this. And it's like, what the hell? I mean, and then I did have some mild issues with that. I had some mild issues like getting going in between, but I was still able to do it. And then we were able to, get, the climax and everything, the pop shot, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I was able to actually fulfill my role, even though I had a few minor problems. But yeah, that was the challenge with that one. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I mean, this kept happening. It was like, okay, do this scene. Then, okay, I'm going to set up. And sometimes it was like 20 minutes in between, and she's messing with the lights. And then it's like, okay, start again. And man, I mean, how can you do that? Like, especially with something like you're supposed to, you just like
Ejaculate and stuff. Yes. That would be
turn it
very
on
difficult.
again. And then it would just be so, yeah. So, but that was the one where I redeemed myself. I felt like I redeemed myself.
Yay. Congrats, Vince. Congrats.
Thanks.
So here's the thing. Are you going to do it again? Are you going to, is this going to be a part of your life? Is it become an addiction? How are you feeling?
I would love to do it again. It's just that the area where I am, it's tough and there's not much happening here. And I had tried to reach out to some more, like real, whatever you want to call it, real producers or some LA kind of producers and stuff. And just to get, and part of me felt like I don't really have what it takes to really be like a real guy that can just go in like a caveman and just have sex with a girl under any circumstance. I felt like I know I don't have that.
Right.
And then there's not much really being made where I am. But I thought my strength was where I did the best was solo scenes. I had no problem. I did totally no problem. And then like doing these domination themed scenes. I've done a few, like with that original cameraman, we did another one where I play like peeping Tom, proprietor of a motel, and I'm peeping in, watching this woman, and she catches me. I had set up a camera, and that was great. And there was a little acting involved, and that was done with an actress outside of where I am. And she had done some stuff. She had experience, and that was I enjoyed the acting aspect and kind of doing some lines and kind of riffing and stuff like that. I felt like that was more my strength than actually just going in and being like this caveman and just being able to
just being the prop. Then it's just being the prop. Is that what I completely get that. But how does it feel now? Because this is the first time you've said this secret out loud. How are you feeling right now? Does it feel freeing?
It feels good. To me, I've sort of been desensitized, really. Like I've been a little desensitized, really. So to me, it almost feels like it's normal to do this stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember that this was a gradual process. And in the beginning, it was, I mean, it's still not completely normal now, but in the beginning, like I was just, to me, I would have thought it was the most outrageous thing. But now, it's like you get kind of used to it in a way. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, if everyone found out, it would be scandal or it would be bad. But yeah, I mean, I if there wasn't such a stigma about it, I'd be okay with telling people. But
here's the thing: sex work is actually coming less stigmatized. So maybe this is the first step of you actually leaning into this hobby that could be a career. Who knows, right? The whole thing I love is that you're willing to come on right now and share it with us and share your truth and a very funny story, which I very much appreciated this morning. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to add before we get off?
Yeah, sure. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to get a female opinion about this. So
sure.
If this is like part of my history of something I've done, like I always wonder, when you're dating someone, do you think it's something that you were and he had a little history of this stuff? Would you feel like it would be something that he should tell you or
no?
not
I mean, I think that's a personal preference. If you're dating someone, if you're with someone for a while and they become a significant other, I think that would be an important time to reveal. But if you just start dating someone, I don't think that's relevant for them to know. I always believe when you start dating, you don't overshare at first. You
Sure.
ask questions, you ask about the other person and see if they're a good fit for you before you divulge every dark secret you've ever had in your life. So, and I don't think it would hinder someone wanting to be in a relationship with someone, but I don't know. That's just me. Everybody has different preferences, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder about that. And even the job I have, I don't know if I'd automatically be fired for that.
You're a teacher, right? So I don't know either. So I have no clue.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, your secret is it's okay to reveal and live your truth at the same time.
Sure. And again, I think that the stigma attached to adult work is sort of fading away a little bit. I mean,
I think a lot of it.
It's not, I feel like it's totally different from even the 90s. I mean, I feel like the internet really changed everything and it made it easy.
It normalized it. Kids are seeing porn as young as 6 and 8 years old, which is not okay. But I'm so grateful you came on. I'm so grateful you reached out. This has been such a fun interview. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
And if you want to be on the show, please email me at secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time. Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.
From anxiety to athletics, being a kid can be pretty complicated. Stay in the know with your kids with the Young and Healthy podcast, brought to you by Cincinnati Children's. Featuring different guests and experts each episode, Young and Healthy delves into the topics parents want to know about. Find and subscribe to Young and Healthy wherever you listen to podcasts. Young and Healthy from Cincinnati Children's.
Time for a quick break to talk about some delicious breakfast options at McDonald's, like a steak, egg, and cheese bagel. Or you can get steak on a McMuffin or biscuit or any other of your favorite breakfast sandwiches. And for even more deliciousness, pair it with a caramel macchiato or one of our other McCafe beverages to make sure your day gets off to a great start. At participating McDonald's, single item at regular price.